Good day, my friend. Good day, my friend. Welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Get ready. This may not be what you want to hear today. This may not be what you want. If you want Fox News cheerleading, everything is changing so fast, so drastically, everywhere. I can't even keep up with it. Let me remind you of the prefatory aspects of this. First and foremost, I ask you, if you like what we do, if you want to support it, first thing, like this video. Can't tell you what likes do. Likes propel and promote algorithms, which push us out into the world so that people can sample us and hear our version of it. Number two, subscribe to the channel. If you've not subscribed, there's no way I can put this into any form of seriousness any more than I have. Next, which is important, please hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos as well. First and foremost, let's get down to brass tacks here. You might not want to hear this, but Trump is doomed on this indictment. Doomed. There's no play here. A while back, we had a kind of a really what amounts to almost a family member who was terminal. Went into a hospice care and eventually passed away by virtue of this disease. It was actually natural causes. It was old age. It was a variety of things. And what happened was, when it came time, the hospice folks were very good, and they made the reality of this death very, very understandable. They said, this is not a shock. This is not, nobody was killed. This is the end of the line. This is it. Your loved one had a good life, but this is the coda. This is the end, the denouement, the valedictory. This is what everybody, this is the end of everybody. It's the circle, the cycle of life. And when people first hear of this, especially, that's hospice over a loved one. But as you know, when someone is told that they have a terminal disease, which is a little bit different, there, of course, is denial and anger and resolution. And you go through this. And what happens is you do it normally, you do it individually, and you do it through your family. But you don't go to a network or to rallies where people will join in the delusion that, no, you're fine. Don't worry. You're great. Come on, you're a fighter. Your parents lived to be 150. They don't have this. They didn't have this. No, you're fine. No, believe me, he's a fighter. That's my favorite. Joe's a fighter. You can fight all you want, but the question is, there comes a time in some instances when it's over. And it's not being mean, it's over. And I've seen this. And we have a very strange way of dealing with it. I want you to understand something. There is no way to look at this Trump indictment in any way other than to say, it's over. Now, we'll talk about his criminal case and we'll politics later on. It's horrible. Not only is it horrible, the more I read it, the more I hear, the more I understand it, it's like, it's stupid. It's beyond stupid. It's beyond negligent. It transcends. And if you were to compare him to Biden, if you were to compare him to Hillary, be my guest. I understand there's a lot of comparison there too. But what makes this different and what is going to hurt a jury is when they hear the arrogance as presented. Now, of course, Trump and his lawyers could come along and say, that never happened. You're making this up. There are people who I've heard believe that the photos of the documents at Mar-a-Lago are photoshopped, that they don't really exist. This is how delusional This is like the people who deny Uncle Joe's fine. Trump's fine. No, he's a fighter. Trump's a fighter. No, this makes him stronger. No. No. It's like, excuse me, this is not Alvin Bragg we're talking about. This is not Stormy Daniels. No. This is the delusion. And if you think that you're delusional, and Jesse Waters is a cretin who said there's nothing illegal with this indictment. Did you hear that? I saw this and I thought, oh my God, we'll get to that in a moment. This is what got me. Listen to this. Go to my Twitter at Lionel Media. I could not believe what I was seeing. This man is cretinous. I mean cretinous. He's a Boeotian. He's a dimwit. Absolutely a dimwit. Just a minute. I want you to see this. You got to hear this. Where is this? I have to read this. I don't want to misquote it because it is so demented. Okay, where is it? Come on. For the love of God, stand by. We got some good stuff. Well, I don't know where it is. Damn it. Oh, here we go. Jesse Waters. Nothing about this document drama is criminal. Jesse Waters said this. Jesse Waters. Waters World. Hey, it's Waters World. You're a cretin. You're a Boeotian. You're delusional. You're insane. Nothing is criminal. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh my God. There's a lot to talk about. We got John Lennon. We're going to do the latest about that, and there's a lot of stuff here. This is a part that gets me. Walt Nauta. Have you seen this poor guy, Walt Nauta? How did Walt Nauta, I don't know how to pronounce his name. How did he get involved in this? Did he have any idea of what they're doing? Are they throwing him under the bus? I hope Trump would at least say, now wait a minute, hold it. Listen, if Trump did this, if Trump said, listen, whatever you do to me, that's one thing. But Walt here had nothing to do with it. He just followed my order. He didn't know anything. Please, leave him alone. Wouldn't that make Trump look magnanimous? Wouldn't that be great? I don't know what he did. Is Dan Scavino anywhere around here? Dan Scavino was always mentioned. Dan Scavino. It's like these people come along and then they're just gone. I don't know what happens to them. They're just gone. They were there and then they're not there. There was what was the name of that Facebook genius? Remember him? The Facebook.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Anyway, they come and they go and they're gone. Now I want you to understand something. And I don't know how to. I want you to sit down here. I want to talk to you. I'm your physician, and Trump is your patient. You may not think this is a big deal. You may think this is a documents case. You may, in your own version of reality, come up with the idea that, this is really no big deal. Other people do it. It's a presidential records thing. It's just, okay, so he classified him, didn't classify him. It's really no big deal. It's not really technically against the law. You can say whatever you want. You're crazy. You're crazy. Nobody ever that I know of, no lawyer ever said, this is a stupid law. This is a dumb law. This is nuts. What? This is where people are right now. They are so delusional by virtue of social media. They're so delusional. They think that they can just say something by acclamation. That you can have a Trump rally and say, this is nonsense. And people will say, okay, it's nonsense. It's not nonsense. If this were Biden, if I told most of the people listening, let me tell you a story about somebody. It's about a former president. And let's say I read the facts of the case, but you didn't know if it was, let's say, Obama or if it was Trump. let's assume, and I went to a Fox News group and I said, all right, everybody, let's have one of those phony, those Hannity audience shows. Let's bring the audience and sit the 12 people down and sit them down saying, let me read you the facts of this case. This is about an ex-president. What do you think they would say? They'd say, who's the president? I'm not going to tell you. This is about an ex-president. No, wait. Who's the ex? I can't answer the question unless you tell me who the ex-president. I see now. You can't answer the question? No, I can't. I see. Well, what would you think about a president who has boxes at his, we won't say words like estate, but in his bathroom, just in boxes, and we don't know what they are. We don't know if they're classified, unclassified. No. You can have things that are unclassified because, the argument always is that in Washington, too many things are top secret. Okay, fine. What if I took something and said, ooh, Bibi Netanyahu might want to see this. Xi Jinping might want to. I'm going to post this. I'm going to scan it, go to FedEx office and scan it and post it. Why? Because I don't know. I'm just going to do it. It's not classified, but it says, whatever it is. And if the stories are true where he went to, remember, if all of this is not true, that's fine. But if they're going to put people on, they say, okay, let's go to trial. And you have somebody who says, tell me, here's an audio, here's a recording of either Trump saying this, or here's somebody who is in the Trump PAC or some kind of a benefactor or donor, and he testifies that, yeah, Trump showed me some military plans or something, and say, this is probably not declassified, but whatever. Anyway, just want to show you this. Kid Rock, there's something going on about Kid Rock mayhem. I don't know about that. I'm just going to. If that's even remotely true, that's a hell of a lot different than Joe Biden saying, hey, come here. Come here, look at this. This is my Wilmington garage. Come here, look at this. Look. You know what this is? This is when I was from a senator, or whatever. I don't know if this is classified or not, but you would want Biden's head if you did that. Same facts, you'd want his head. You would say there's no excuse for that. You're compromising national security. But if it's Trump, the Fox crowd says, well, Jesse Waters, the genius, says, well, that's Mark Levin screaming and yelling. That's good for that'll go viral. It's absurd. What are you doing? What kind of a moron does this? What are you doing? Now you could talk about Hillary. Yeah, but Hillary Clinton, I know, bleach bit, I know. But did she say, come here? I've got witnesses as a come here. Now, granted, they were smashing stuff. You're right. But you can't always stop and say, well, it's like if you go to a doctor and you say, listen, Uncle Dave here has stage 4 or whatever. Wait a minute. The guy in the next bed, he's even older and he has just stage 1 and it's operable. What does that have to do with anything? Only in the world of Fox News and Republican social media lunacy can you explain away criminal culpability by saying, yeah, but Hillary, but she had the emails, but she used bleach bit. This bleach bit must be, I don't know if their stock went up or what is going on here? Wait till the jury sees the picture, if they haven't already. Just wait to see the boxes and boxes and boxes. And the testimony of old Walt, how the boxes tipped over and they had to scoop them up and had them in a bathroom. And it just looks horrible. Why in the name of God? Why? I don't understand this. He's a billionaire. This is a very smart man. Donald Trump is a very, very smart man who is privy to more White House advisors than you could ever imagine, who would say, you can't do this. Let me explain this to you while you're leaving. When you go to HR, when they say, welcome aboard, or you're leaving, well, here's your this, here's your severance, here's your this, here's your COBRA, blah, 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 turn in your key. You think somebody would say to him and his staff, does he have a chief of staff? Does he have somebody who... Do you have somebody who runs your office because there's a certain stipend you get, particular part of your pension, or you can have a staff, and you can have the library. Is Trump going to have a library? Right? Is Trump going to have a library? All of this coordination of all about the records. It's something that is overwhelmingly apparent to you. Overwhelmingly. Does he not have somebody? Could it be that he is just on his own? He doesn't have anybody because he never thought about having a Trump, library, or library, as George W. Bush might say. Are you believing any of this stuff? Are you hearing? Are you seeing anything? Are you seeing this? Do you see what's happening right now? What about this do you not understand? Where is the defense? Where is the defense in this? I don't understand. John McGuire says, if an individual who was cleared to see the documents, who cares if they have a copy, as a copy already exists in the head? It's the sharing of information that should be considered problematic. Well, thank you, John. No. Count number one, saying to somebody, don't tell them we have this. This is what's alleged. This is obstruction of justice. Number two, false statements. Number three, it doesn't work like that. Well, this is a copy. I may have cleared it. I don't know. You've got 37 counts. This is just straining, not you, John, but straining at reality. Oh, come on, you're just playing along with, the DOJ. You're not. No, you're delusional. Remember what happened? The Alvin Bragg case was absolutely nonsense, though he could most probably be convicted in Manhattan. That's the truth. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows. Oh, you're just saying that. What? You're just saying that because you're part of the mainstream media, the liberal media. No, I'm telling you the truth. I'm a lawyer. No, you're not supposed to say that. But that was an awful charge, and it was nothing, and there's no way, even if he was convicted, even if he was, he's not going to do any jail. Not for that. John McGuire says, no, I agree with you. Trump does appear to have broken the law 100%. The law may be a stupid law. The law may be a stupid law. John, I'm going to give you an example of something. And again, thank you, my friend. Now, this is an analogy, and I want you to understand something. This is an analogy. In the state of New Jersey, if you ever travel through there and they want to pull you over for whatever reason, they have this stupid law that's still there that says if you have your license tag in the back and you have a frame around it, the frame that comes from the dealership, or the frame that says, former Marine or Marine, whatever it is, something that just have a nice day, one of those frames. If any part of the writing on the license is obscured, if it says New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania, if any of it, if let's say the letter starts here and there's the slightest little bit of covering up, even though you can see the word exactly, it's a violation. It's a non-moving violation. And they get to pull you over for that. They've got a rule that says you can't hang anything from your rearview mirror. And where do you hang the handicap ticket? From the rearview mirror. It tells you. It has a statute that says don't do that, and another statute that says now if you do this, if we give you this permit, you better hang it from here. This doesn't make any sense. Is it stupid? Yes. Is it the law? Yes. Oh, that's stupid. Yes. Doesn't matter. Where do people think Trump with the... Let me ask everybody a question. Why is it that Trump wants to keep these documents? What does he want from them? That's my first question. I'm just curious. As a person, number one. Number two, when you leave office, as I said, you have people who assist you. He's thinking about Believe me, his legacy. You don't think Trump wants a library? Maybe at Bedminster, maybe. I'm sure he might have his library at Trump. You know Trump's going to have a library. You know he's going to have a library. Or a library. You know this, right? Of course. So somewhere along the line, the archivists, the librarians, the people pursuant to the staff, they start dealing with you. And they start saying, now let's make sure you understand how this thing works. And probably is done maybe along the line, maybe in your chief of staff. And Mr. President, understand that what you have here, notes, your calendar, emails, pictures, this isn't yours. This isn't yours. How many folks, how many of you have worked for or work for certain financial institutions, and you have an audit one day where the HR person comes in and says, let me see your phone. We need your phone. We want to see your pictures, your texts, your messages while you worked here. If you what? Wait a minute. What? Yes. You have your password, cloud. Wait a minute. What? Yes. This is the law. This is the law? Wait a minute. Yes. What are you going to do? Well, Hillary Clinton, you're going to bring that one up again. There are some things that just make no sense. Did you know that? It's true. It's true. But see, in the Fox News crowd, oh, that's crazy. You're just a Biden fan, or you're a, I don't know what it is. It's just incredible. They're arguing with the law. You should say, that's the law. The arguing is over. It's there. And somebody's going to sit back and say, well, you know, the way I see it. Now, I think the argument can be made very simply that they didn't have to charge him with anything. I think as a matter of policy, I made it very clear. I think that as a case of Elliot Richardson and others, Merrick Garland should have stepped down and said, I am not going to be responsible for prosecuting a presidential candidate. I'm not going to do it. You can do it. I'm not into that. That's not my thing. This stinks. We need so much insulation. I'm not going to be a part of this. This is what I've said repeatedly. That's discretion. That's valor. That's a lot of other things. Nobody seems to care about that. But no, they want to keep talking about Hillary Clinton. And Jesse Waters wants to say, now, I got to tell you this much. You're going to love this. Get ready. Do all your drinking of coffee. You ready for this? You're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. So get ready. I'm just warning you. You're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you, but it's true, because I couldn't believe it either. On the subject of other things are happening too. We'll talk about Tucker a little bit. We'll talk about John Lennon coming up. It's interesting. We'll talk about other stuff. Fox News has changed drastically. I don't know what it was. We can come up with all kinds of theories. Maybe it was a Dominion lawsuit. Maybe it was Tucker. Maybe it was the fact that the new Murdochs were in charge, and maybe their wives, and maybe they're liberals, or I don't know what. But the network sucks. They had a morning, what was it, Feel Good or something, or some Feel Good, some stupid. It's horrible. They're even, the other day I'm hearing Mark Levin, because I'm watching all this stuff. I mean, who does what? And Mark Levin's calling in. It's like they're doing cross promotion of their own people. They're not even getting new people in. It's like, what's going on here? They've got that moron Typhoid or whatever his name is, that idiot with a hat and the whole bit, and the tattoos. And with this is just, I mean, this is slumming it. This morning I heard the best appraisal of anything on CNN. I don't know. What's her name? I have no idea. Randy K. No laughing. Here's our expert. What does count one say? What does this say? What is it? I actually learned more. I thought, well, maybe this is an anomaly. Maybe it happened just one time. Maybe, I don't know. Could they be getting their stuff together after Chris Licht? I have no idea. I have no idea. It was the best coverage. The best. And don't think they're not against throwing Jonathan Turley off. Because Turley is the most honest. Turley is saying, this case stinks. Even Dershowitz, he's on too, but he's being rather, he can kind of talk around it. Dershowitz is the best. Dershowitz, you got to know how he talks around the subject. Dershowitz can come on and you can say, listen, would you do me a favor? Would you come on? Yeah. And don't say anything bad about Fox. Yeah. I mean, he'll, not that he would do this on purpose, but he could. He'll talk about the fact of the separation of this and the fact when you want to shoot the king, you get the king. And he talks about all kinds of stuff. And this is it. And he doesn't really say anything. I mean, he doesn't really address it, but it sounds good. It sounds, was that for Trump? Not really, because he's not a hack. He's not a hack. And Andy McCarthy, they definitely don't want him. See, National Review is just, they have had it with Trump. This is the preeminent, was the preeminent, not neocon, paleocon. This is Bill Buckley. This was Bill Buckley, Pat Buchanan, paleoconservatism, not neocons. Listen to this. I saw that I have to share this with you. This is when I realized, stick a fork in it. It's done. Listen to this. There is something called turning point action. Turning point. Listen to this group of people. You ready for this? Listen to this. This is the future of the Republican Party, right? Or at least from this. Speakers, July 15 and 16, Donald Trump, okay. Tucker Carlson, get to him in a moment. Dan Bongino, who wants to spend more time with his family. Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, Josh Hawley, J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, Benny Johnson, Lauren Boebert, Jack Probiotic, and Matt Gaetz. If this is the intellectual vanguard of the Republican Party, you're doomed. You're doomed. This is called, let's boost the social media platform. The Republican Party is doomed. These folks are not in any way interested in middle-of-the-road, undecided independents. This is great for just excitement. This is professional wrestling. This is the Iron Sheik versus Dan Gable. One's Greco-Roman, catch as catch can. The other one is a work. Okay, you got it? This is where we're going right now. This is where it is. It's this kind of it's basically a bunch of babies. Now, second of all, this is really not critical, but it's important. If I told CNN, what are you going to do? What should they do? Because this morning, again, I don't know what we saw. It might have been just a fluke, but it was excellent. But if I actually told David Zaslav, I would go full woke, full tilt, full loon. I mean, trans presenters and I mean, absolutely 100%. You want woke? You want woke? Because the story of CNN is how the children tell the owners what's going on, because they set up Licked for failure because they liked their boy Zucker. Same thing happened when Dean Baquet was shouted down by the New York Times crowd. They actually peons are telling the bosses, and you better do this. I would have said, remember that famous scene where Saddam Hussein got everybody, and I said, you're all fired. I didn't hire you as my assistant. You are employees. Get out. Same thing happened to CNN. It's this shout down mentality. Stuff you hear at college campuses and things like that. So I would say, oh, you want woke? I'll give you woke. I would have somebody, some 6'5", big, whatever it is, drag queen, whatever. I say, you like that? Complain about that. Go ahead. Of course, people would watch. They'd say, did you see that? The numbers would go through the roof because, after all, it's a joke. And not only that, cable news is dying. Tucker Carlson, listen to this one. Now, he's really somebody, he has no leadership whatsoever. He is rudderless. So this is very interesting. Very interesting. Now this is a story from Trending Politics. And it says, in the second episode of Tucker on Twitter, Carlson once again stirred up the conversation, this time about transparency in his new episode titled Cling to Your Taboos. Carlson openly discussed former President Barack Obama's personal life, leading many to speculate about what he meant. Carlson explained, quote, by 2008, it was obvious to anybody who was paying attention that Barack Obama had a strange and highly creepy personal life. Yet nobody asked him about it. Now, wait a minute. Did you know this? Did you know this? I don't know if that's true. Was it clear to everybody that he had a creepy personal life? I mean, you always hear things, but, quote, by that point, a leader's behavior within his own marriage, the core relationship of his life, had been declared irrelevant. It was Barack Obama's business, not yours, Carlson finished. While the provocative journalist did not directly assert anything about Obama's sexual orientation, the implications of his words had led some to question if there was more to Obama's personal life than the public knows. The use of the terms strange and creepy to describe Obama's personal life has led some to question whether Carlson is suggesting something more significant. And you know, there's always been this repeated trope, this meme, evinced and promoted by Joan Rivers and others regarding Michelle. Okay. Do you see what's happening? Do you see what's happening with this? This is, because I know you're interested in this. Let me tell you what's happening. Number one, Tucker's on his own. No editors. He is PO'd. He's angry. He feels rejected, rebuffed, just tossed. He's mad. He's lashing out at everybody, number one. And there's no editorial rule there. Number two, he realizes, I think wisely enough, that in order to make a name for yourself, you better really go nuts. If I were Tucker, I would go full tilt boogie. Check out this article in today's Daily Mail about suggesting that there was another shooter in John Lennon. I don't know if this is true, but this is bandied about. There's always been a lot of questions about that, and many people who have been proponents and have followed the notions and tenets of MK Ultra have suspected it with Mark David Chapman and with Sirhan Sirhan. But anyway, so Tucker had better go off. I mean, full blown. If he thinks he is going to compete, because right now people are running to him because he's new, because the stories are, he had 40 million people. We'll get to that in a moment. 50 million people while he's there. But he can't just count on people going there. He's got to make sure each story, go for it. If you want to talk about UFOs, talk about UFOs. Don't give me this roundabout stuff about, maybe somebody said there might have been a landing. No. Go for it. Now here's the question. I want to ask you a very simple question. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's even remotely possible? It's in the realm of possibility for Elon Musk to say, hey, listen, Tucker, don't worry. Whatever happens, you're going to have 40 million viewers. What? Twitter's going to say 40 million viewers, no matter what. Is that possible? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tucker had on Elon, promoted Elon. Elon is now, he says things which are just, he's the most important person in our orbit. Is it beyond the realm of possibility for somebody to say, how much did he want? 5 million? Oh, no, 40. How do you verify this? Do you think it's possible? Anything? Do you believe numbers? You've heard of shadow banning. What about the opposite? What is the opposite called? You don't think it's possible for somebody to say, make sure this guy goes at the top? Because in our world of psychometrics and whatever, worth is dependent upon how many followers or whatever you have. There are people that I never, ever, I couldn't prove it, but I wouldn't be surprised. And if I mentioned their name, you wouldn't think so. Who I thought, there you go. That's more like it. Especially somebody who, I don't know about you, but if somebody says, and you know what? This is the greatest guy. There you go. Thank you. You can't, this is just, I'm not even suggesting anything. But let me just explain something. Let me just explain something to you. When you see somebody say, aha, and the storyline is he had 40 million, 20 million, 50, whatever it is. That's the metric? Okay, question the metric. If that's the story, then question it. Not doubt it. Question it. Ask, can you please verify that? Can we look into this? Now, what's happening right now, let me explain to you. Let's go back. Everything's changed. There are going to be people, no matter what Trump does, or is accused of doing, or didn't do, or whatever, who are going to love him no matter what. No matter what. They love him. Doesn't matter. They wear the MAGA hat. They're part of a Trump tribute band. They're the deadheads who follow the band, and they just love this. They love him. And there are people, I don't know if people do that about Biden, but I don't know if there's any Democratic counterpart. Probably not. But Trump is completely on his own. Completely on his own. Now, that's number one. The next thing to know, and this is very important, you got to ask yourself the question, what happens when he's convicted? Because you know he's going to be convicted. They're not going to dismiss the case. Janine Tomaselli, thank you, Janine. That's for you, Janine. Thank you so much. You know he's going to be convicted. I mean, I'm not saying I like this. I think it's terrible. Let me, again, tell you on the record. Merrick Garland should not have charged, should have either said, I have nothing to do with this, or dismiss it, or whatever. But you don't do this. It makes us look like a banana republic. That's what I say. That doesn't mean there's nothing there, There's nothing there. Did you ever hear the stories? I mean, the things that you could have charged presidents with? Possibly. I mean, after the fact? Come on. Anyway. Now, listen carefully. I don't know when it's going to happen. But the only issue is, can they rule jail out of the equation? One of these counts. One. And depending upon the sentencing guidelines, which I don't know if anybody's even remotely considered that. I don't think we have any minimum mandatories or any kind of compulsory. But I think it is not beyond the realm of reason for a judge to say, you can't put him in any kind of confinement. You just can't. By virtue of the fact that this is a clear and convincing reason to depart below the guidelines. And the reason is because of his status, his safety, safety of others, and the fact that he has a Secret Service contingent by statute. And we can't waive that. That's going to be the issue. That's going to be the issue. That's going to be it. Because I don't hear anybody saying, well, here's the defense. Here's the defense. People are forgetting, well, what is, did he declare these as being classified? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're not using this term anymore. That's not the issue. Nobody's arguing about whether these are classified documents or not. It doesn't work like this. He faces a 37-count indictment, including willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy to obstruct justice, withholding a document or record, corruptly concealing a document or record, concealing a document in a federal investigation, scheme to conceal and making false statements and representations. So this is not People say, well, was it classified? They don't mention classified. It's documents. Let me say this again. These are the charges. Willful retention of national defense information. And now maybe there's a part of the statute, I have not read it, that says it's got to be classified or unclassified, whatever it is. Conspiracy to obstruct justice. That's going to be allegations of him saying, don't tell the lawyers, or tell the lawyers, or, hey, Walt, throw this in, whatever, the back of the truck. Withholding a document or a record, withholding it. Corruptly concealing a document or record. Again, whether it's classified or unclassified, you got to read the statute. Concealing a document in a federal investigation is scheme to conceal and making false statements and representations. Now, if you can get around that, if Mark Levin can convince me or show me how Hillary's similar actions is somehow going to negate this, be my guest. Please tell me. But there are people, and this is the most important part. This is the most important part. There are people who say, I don't care. Now you can say, I don't care, I still respect. Great. He can, by the way, still run for office. He can be elected as it doesn't matter. You can say that. You can do that all you want. You can say that. I understand that. But for you to say, no, there is no crime, that's what I don't get. Jesse Waters, the genius. Oh, no, this isn't criminal. There's nothing in this. What? Now you're just making stuff up. It doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want, and I'm on Fox, and I'm gonna be the new guy, and that's it. John McGuire says, in my opinion, he'll get home confinement. He'll get the best ankle bracelet ever. He'll lose the nomination, run third party, split the Republican Party, and we get Biden or Newsom. Well, it's funny you say that. If I had to bet right now, as of today, is Gavin Newsom's going to win. Not that he should. I'm not going to vote for him. As I told you repeatedly, I'm writing in Bobby Kennedy's name, even though he's not going to get anywhere. But I want that, my officials, this is my opinion. To me, voting is an opinion. It's my chance to say, this is what I believe. I could see Trump being, to use the West Tampa word, empingado, really PO'd about everything. Absolutely furious, especially when you have a, how do I say this? When you have a group of folks who have basically, because remember, the Republican Party is split all over the place. Democrats are 100% in unison, okay? In unison. You understand this? In unison. They don't veer. National Review, they have their thing. You've got others as well. And then you have basically the media folks. You've got Newsmax nipping at the heels of Fox News, which is really, if you say, well, that's not politics. Oh, it is politics. Because to most American Republicans, I hate to say it, their party is their network. They love this. They love this. Now, let me go through this again. I want to say this again. If this is your idea of the Republican Party, because remember, my hero would be, they asked Vince McMahon one time, they said, who was your hero? Who do you match or pattern WWF then for? And he said, McDonald's. I want to be family. Now look at this. Ask yourself this question. I want you to imagine yourself a middle-of-the-road American, maybe a Republican. Well, assuming you're a Republican, you're going to vote. But maybe you're an independent. Maybe you're undecided. And Tucker Carlson. Look at all these people. The only person of, quote, color, whatever it's worth, is Vivek Ramaswamy. And I don't even like to use those demographics. Dan Bongino, Steve Bannon, again, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, whatever his name is, Josh Hawley, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, creepy Matt Gaetz. This is, you know what this is? I hate to tell you. Were you ever in high school? We didn't have this because, lucky for me, we had a very hip school class, a student body where we had it was all male boys, whatever, and we didn't have any cool people. But did you ever have people in your high school that thought they were cool? The students, or the cheerleaders, or the certain members of this club or that club, and you could tell they always ended up being the biggest losers in life. But you always tell they were so cool. They thought the school was for them. They thought that you, in your studies, you were just kind of like an extra in the movie about them. Did you ever know these people? Did you ever meet these people? Did you ever see these people? These are the people who thought that somehow they ran the show. That's this group here. That's this group of people who represent I don't know what, but this isn't the Republican Party that I want to have anything to do with. I don't know what they're talking about. There is a person, I want you to be very clear about this. There is a person out there that I want to meet. And these are people, the beautiful people, Kimmy. There are people who are rational, normal, moms and dads and grandpas and people, young people, old people, gay people, black people, Asian people, people of color, students, employed, unemployed, people who I can get with just in terms of rational, common sense. And I want to go to them. I'm going to say, I hope you don't understand me, but I want to cut government's involvement with virtually 90% of the stuff that these people are talking about. I do not want to be a part of any movement to ban abortion. If you want to ban abortion, go ahead, but you're going to lose. I do not want to ban abortion. I do not want to make women who get abortions subject to criminal prosecution and felonies. I don't want to do that. I want to do everything in my power to stop abortion, but I don't want to ban it. I'm not interested in that. I'm against war. I'm against war profiteering. I want common sense when it comes to whether biomedical issues, whether medical reactions to either health concerns or viruses or pandemics. I want it to make sense. Take what Bobby Kennedy has said. I'm trying to find something I disagree with. I'm trying to find something I really disagree with vehemently. I haven't found it yet. And I'm going to tell people. Now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like what they're doing with Target, please talk to the Target people. That's not the government. I'm not interested. If you want to live in a society where transgender policies are accepted, please do that. When it comes to state-sponsored, government-sponsored puberty blockers and genital mutilation, that's a different story. But that's it. Do you remember a time in this country when women, they wanted to open up women, what am I trying to say? Immigration for women who faced genital mutilation. Remember that? Female circumcision? It really wasn't a circumcision. In certain countries, African countries, sub-Saharan countries, they would take little girls, clitoridectomies. They would ablate the labia. It was just horrible. They would just mutilate and savage the external pudenda, the vulva. Just horrible. Horrible. And they called it a circumcision, but it wasn't. Okay. There were people, and I said, I'm with you on that. That's terrible. And you can say, well, it's religion. Well, I don't know about religion. If headhunting is religion, I would put an end to that too. Okay, those same people who were against genital mutilation when it came to clitoridectomies and all that, they're silent in this. I don't understand how that works. So that's the kind of stuff I think is interesting. And people like Boebert and others make gun ownership, the gun issue, seem like a joke. A joke. And I made this very clear to you. Matt Gaetz is the creepiest. Watch this guy. This is a guy who actually, from the beginning, wanted to show dissension by railing against Kevin McCarthy. Right off the bat. I would have said, we are all going to vote for Kevin McCarthy. And whatever we say is going to be behind closed doors, but not for the public. But Matt Gaetz would say, no, I'm the beautiful person. I want to be everybody's favorite. Right, Lauren? Right. Notice how Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's smart. Watch her. Watch where she's going. Everything's changing. CNN shifting. Fox is shifting. The Republican Party, I don't even know what they're talking about. And then there's this emergence of the beautiful people, the cool kids. They're trying to rise to the top. They don't represent me. The future for this country, in terms of policy, maybe not platform, is Bobby Kennedy. Absolutely. Finally, read today's Daily Mail about a theory which was very, very interesting. And this was something that is so... Also, you can read this story about... Oh, look at this. After that indictment, read the full... this is the full jaw-dropping story of the $10 million Biden-Ukraine bribery claims and wonder why the feds care. It's unbelievable. But here's this story. Listen to this. Let me just read. Second shooter behind John Lennon murder. New evidence reveals bullets from two different guns were pulled from Beatle legend body in the autopsy. This is from an author. Read this. And there were always two things that came up. And as you know, many, and again, this, I'm just read this, or not, it's up to you. There's two things I've always thought were never really explained. Number one is the idea and the notion of MK Ultra. MK Ultra was declassified. Speaking of declassified, and there were two cases where I would absolutely want to investigate it more if I had the wherewithal. Number one, Sirhan. Number two, Mark David Chapman. By virtue of what he said after the fact, John Lennon at the time posed one of the most existential threats to this country and to everyone you can imagine. He was a thorn in the side of everyone. And granted, Hoover died in 1972. Hoover couldn't stand him. But a lot of those folks at the time were still out and about. And none of this, and listen very carefully to what I'm saying, just because I have a suspicion, or just because I would like to have a particular area of thought answered, doesn't mean I'm making any allegations of inside job or anything like that. But it's a story I never really bought because he was so important. And there's one thing you got to understand too. When you destroy the head of a movement, sometimes you destroy the movement because you so devastate, you liquidate, you foreclose on the collective spirit of a very loud and potentially dangerous group of people. So just think about that one. Now others will say, aha, I know it. No. I'm making no jump to that. I'm not jumping into that. I'm just saying it's fascinating. So John McGuire, thank you so very much for your kindness today and your generosity. Janine Tomaselli, thank you as well. I appreciate that. You are without a peer. I appreciate that. And I also want you to recognize one thing. You can do whatever you want. But here's the bottom line. And you may not like to hear this. Unless there is something that is so glaring, so corrupt, so missing from all of the facts, Donald Trump is toast. Toast in this indictment. Now they can stretch it out. Maybe they can have it lose some momentum. Maybe there can be some procedure in terms of whatever. Maybe it will actually have a tremendous boost in terms of the reaction, thus making the government disinclined to pursue it, whatever. But in terms of just the facts of the case, as alleged, and also keep in mind that every indictment always looks terrible. Every police report looks terrible. Every traffic ticket, everything looks terrible. This is brutal. Read the allegations. It's not about merely having stuff that he thought was classified, as they allege. Let me also say for the millionth and first time, I do not believe this is something that the federal government should be involved in the first place. Period. End of discussion. I think that it should have been the province, it should have been the duty of Mr. Garland to say, I'm out of this, and to pull an Elliot Richardson. But here is the thing. Do not be one of these people that separates liking Trump, which is your province. And there's so much I like and admire of his style and what he did and what he's done and what he still can do in terms of presence. Don't confuse that with proof of criminal activity. Don't do that. That's all I'm saying. All right, dear friends, we'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. Have a great and glorious evening. Make sure you also follow Mrs. L. She has a brand new video that's out at Lynn's Warriors. It's a beaut. It's a beaut. It's about kids being terrified, and you're going to find out why. Also follow her on YouTube, Twitter at Lynn's Warriors, LYNNS_Warriors. And also follow me on Twitter as well at Lionel Media. Okay? And again, like these videos, like them. We only have 195 likes. That is de minimis. That is not good. We need more. The more you like, the more people start to say, and understand something. Because I know people are going to be very upset. I do not care what the popular opinion is. I do not care what Fox is or CNN or anybody else. I don't care. If they happen to agree with me, great. If they don't, I don't care. I don't care about what anybody does. If somebody does something great, I'll tell you. If somebody does something stupid, I'll tell you. I'm not in this. I'm not a cheerleader. If you want a cheerleader, go to this Turning Point and hang out with Joe Probiotic or whoever these people are, and they'll tell you the same thing. They'll tell you what you want to hear. They're applause-based. That's it. I can see through BS so fast. It's a curse. And I will not be bamboozled, and I will not be lied to. And I am not in the position where I'm needing to be any part of any kind of cool guy, beautiful people fan club. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter to me. And there are some parts of me, a lot, where I want to sit down with Trump and say, what the hell are you doing? Why are you making this so hard for so many people who have invested their lives? They've lost family members over you. Why do you make supporting you so difficult? Why are you doing this? Why? I don't understand it. But perhaps later. See you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, my friend, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.